everyone, it's Deb back again, and I have got a DIY video for you making project life cards. I'm going to show you how I do it. So I like to do it with my photos to ensure that I'm actually using the cards that I'm making. So I'm going to show you some basic cards, basic designs that I go to make some DIY cards. So you can see I've got my photos there for the spread that I want to do, and I picked out my cards that I think I'm going to use. So I'm starting with this 4x6 card, and I have got a pack of Project Life grid cards. Now, you don't have to use grid, you could just use a piece of white cardstock, anything you want. And I don't do weekly kind of cards. My project life is more monthly, so if you do the weekly cards, you could certainly put your week numbers up on this card. So anyway, I've got my grid card, I've got a bit of the pattern paper, I've cut, I think it was just under 1.5 inches of the pattern paper off, and I've got a doily there, and I've trimmed that across just a third of it maybe. And I do want a strip of pattern paper to go across, so I'm just swapping that out because I wanted more of the pink than the coral color. So and originally I was going to make this into a pocket. I still might. I just wanted to get the basic structure of the card made. So just gluing down the pattern paper to my grid card, and I'm just lining it up on another 4x6 card so I can get the sizing right. And I'm only gluing 3 sides of that pattern paper so I can have it as a pocket if I do want to. And then I'm just going to add that bit of doily. I'm just trimming some excess. I'm going to add that doily, that strip of pattern paper that I cut from the other 4x6 card, and I'm going to add in some exclusive labels, and I'm just going to tuck them under after I get this glued down. And I only put a touch bit of glue on each end of that strip of paper, so I was going to tuck that in behind. Just moving the doily over. I was going to tuck that bit of ephemera, which is actually from the main kit, behind the doily there into the pocket. I end up putting another exclusive label, and when I go to make my spread, I might change it out, I might not, but the card's already made and done, and that's basically what I wanted to get done on this video. Just to show you some basic designs that I love. Swapping that bit out for another exclusive label, and I didn't glue it down in case I do change it. In fact, I might go back and change the purple one to a pink one. Just depends on how my spread goes and how I decorate my photos. So the next one is really super simple. I cut the 4x6 card down in half into 3x4, and it had that cute little pattern at the top. And I did want this card to be mainly for journaling in the spread. So I'm adding an exclusive die cut to the top, and I'll just staple it there. And when I do go back into journal, I may add one of those gold hearts down to the bottom, or a cluster or something down on the bottom where that heart is on the bottom right there. Just showing you that. Really basic, but making it your own. And the next one is one of my go-to. So easy, love doing this, and it's picking some paper, pattern paper that you love, excuse me, and then adding an exclusive label, and it is done. You can add a bit of journaling, you can add some rhinestones, enamel dots and all that, and I'm going to show you the decoration part of the whole spread in my next video. So this one's just focusing on making some cards. So this week I do have an insert. It's going to be 6 by 12, like half a design A page protector it's going to be. So I'm just figuring out some cards. I did have some cards picked out, but I swapped them out because I was going for a little bit more pink in my spread. So that side really doesn't really need anything done to them cards. So I'm just going to pop them out of the way. And then I'm going to work on the back side of that insert, sorry. So I'm just bringing them in, and it's going to have the 2 4x6 photos, and I want 2 3x4 photos. Now there's 2 different stories, so I'm going to alter both of these cards to hold some journaling. So again, I'm reaching for my grid cards, and I do believe I got them from Spotlight. I'm not sure if they sell them anymore because I haven't been to Spotlight in so long. And I was playing around. I did want some type of embellishment to sit in the bottom kind of part of this card. So I was just playing around with the heart and exclusive die cut there. Grabbed some vellum from my stash, and I did rip it down the side so it's uneven and it's got that ripped look. And I'm going to do the same with this bit of pattern paper, and I'm just going to glue that on and then add a punch circle and the heart to the bottom of this card. The punch I use is just slightly bigger than an inch, and I do bump up the heart. I put it on some vellum and cut it out, and then I do use some fun foam underneath the heart to bump it up a bit, just to add a bit of dimension. So just fiddling with that now. And because there was only a little bit of the story really that I need to tell on each of these photos, so that's why there's not a huge amount of journaling space happening on these cards. And here we go. I'm going to bump it up. I do kind of fumble a bit with the bum foam. Get there in the end. Just bump it up, and then I'm going to glue that little embellishment down onto that card towards the bottom half, under the bottom half, sorry. Fumbling for words today. And what else do I want to say? I do make mostly journaling cards in this video because I did have a lot of journaling I wanted to include on this spread, and as I said, I've got an insert happening as well. But if you're interested in some more decorative filler cards, making them, I can certainly make that kind of video. If you're interested, just leave a comment below. Now since I did this a few months ago, this has become one of my absolute favorites to do, and it's to roll the corner over. So I put a bit of that grid card underneath, and I'm going to roll the corner over, and I'm just testing a few things out because I do like to, when I'm making the spread, to add a little embellishment where the fold meets the pattern paper. And I was lucky on this instance that the back side of this card was a light pink. If it had been a color that I wasn't happy with, I would have just grabbed another scrap bit of pattern paper and covered that bit that was going to show. So just gluing it down, and I do get my staple mini stapler out and just staple that down, and that is done. So as I said, I only had a tiny bit of journaling about each of these photos, so that is enough space for me. And when I do go to make my spread, I will most likely embellish a bit more or add a bit more onto these cards if I so wish. So moving on to the other side, and I had fussy cut this floral wreath out of one of the journaling cards, and I'm just going to bump it up with some fun foam, and I'm going to put it to the bottom of this 3x4 card with it hanging off. It looks more pleasing to the eye if you have things hanging off. It just looks a bit more anchored, I think, and bumping it up on the fun foam adds a bit more interest. I am cutting down some vellum here to put on the top card, and I will get to that in a sec. This coral kind of card that fades into the blue purpley color, it was bugging me, so I removed it, and I grabbed another piece of grid card, cut it to 3x4, and I'm going to do the same thing as I did on my insert card, where I put a bit of vellum down the side and tore the pattern paper to go down the side, but I'm going to do it across the top on this one, and call that one done. And as I've said before, when I go to put my spread together, which you'll see in the next video, I can always embellish more. I may even add a little cluster down the bottom, or to the center of the top there. I'm not sure yet. It depends on how I'm feeling when I make the spread. So I grabbed this, well, I slowed the footage down first, but I grabbed a pocket because the top card I wanted to show you what I plan on doing, but because I haven't done my journaling yet, I cannot seal or stitch or glue the vellum to the card. So I need something to contain my confetti that I'm going to put into this pocket, and the best way I can show you is to use one of these little slips, so then I'm not committing to sewing down this vellum onto the top of my card before I add my journaling, because I'm not sure if I'm going to write my journaling or type it, but my plan is to type or write on the pattern paper. And my camera cut out, I'm so sorry, but I did punch out all the confetti little pieces from the pattern paper, and I added some sequins, so when I do stitch or glue down the vellum over the top, this confetti and all that will be sitting over my journaling and make it like a fun journaling shaker card. And you will see that come together in my next video, so you must be subscribed to this channel to see the next one and how I put it together. So more grid paper, more grid cards, it's a staple, and I'm going to add a bit to this bottom card that I have planned to use in my spread. And I was going to go with a floral cluster, and then I just like this flower by itself. I'm not sure why, but this flower, I just loved it. And then I remembered the offcut I had little offcuts from my other journaling cards from that floral paper. I'm just going to cut some leaves out and add it to this floral. So the actual flower is from the sticker sheet, and I've just bumped it up on some foam. And I thought I was going to use this kind of cluster of leaves. I don't end up using that. So just gluing down the grid card and adding the floral and the leaves, and I'm going to call that one good. So yeah, and that's pretty much it. It's just a basic kind of structure of a few journal cards, my go-to kind of techniques that I like to do so I can get that pretty paper going in my spreads and still be able to journal and be able to see the journaling and make my spreads look a little bit more prettier. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, and don't forget to subscribe, because my next video will be putting this whole spread together and embellishing it and decorating my photos and all the things I love to do. And stay tuned for the stills at the end, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Bye.